of the January 8th statement, where the theme commits us to fix local government in order to meet the basic needs of our people. Following which there was a roll call of all ANC councillors across the country late last year, after which the president of the ANC gave marching orders to all of the councillors to ensure that everything is done to fix service delivery and ensure that we've got councillors that work for the people. This morning, our national officials have just concluded a meeting and further apprise themselves of the progress we're making and some of the challenges we must still encounter and overcome and fix. At this point, I'd like to introduce, of course, the Secretary General who speaks for the organization on matters of this nature, who is also accompanied by the first Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Nomvula Mokonyane.
To you on the 11th. My response is, I don't remember. What are you talking about? I had remembered, obviously, Chair, but I was trying to move away from that issue. He then sends me the two names in terms of trying to remind me on what I had just said I had forgotten.
Yes, and you don't say to him, thank you, I've received it, but as I told you, I won't be checking. You just say thank you.
So when we hung up on the call, he then sends that to me. Then in the response, I said,
as you all will remember, last year, we did make an undertaking on that occasion that will brief you on the execution of the action plan as it was launched on that occasion by the President of the African National Congress. We did make an undertaking that we will brief South Africa and the media bi-monthly on the implementation of the action plan. And it coincides as well with our decision this year, which we declared as the year of fixing a local government decisively. So this morning, we are reporting on that. We are joined by the Deputy Secretary General and as well as members of the local government intervention team led by Comrade Stella Ndabeni, and the deputy is Comrade Dixon Masemula. Dixon as well is a minister in deputy minister in government on local government, but in the ANC. He's a member of the National Executive Committee and responsible for the task of local government intervention. We are therefore this morning mandated in answering the question of when are you now going to report. We are then mandated this morning to report for the first time since the roll call on this work. And therefore, we represent the top 7 and the ANC in general on the work done. Over the past 6 months, following the adoption of the Local Government Action Plan in September 2025, government has undertaken a fundamental reorientation from reactive administration to targeted evidence-based intervention at local municipality level, of course informed by also the 10-point plan of a local government action plan of the ANC. This shift reflects a deeper understanding that the crisis in local government cannot be resolved through fragmented responses, but requires coordinated multi-sphere intervention supported by political oversight and technical capacity. 8 cabinet prioritized municipalities have been placed under structured turnaround programs, each supported by municipal service improvement plans with clear targets, timelines, and monitoring systems. These interventions have already stabilized governance in 6 of the municipalities, restoring administrative functionality and refocusing operations on core services such as water, electricity, roads, and sanitation. This work has been reinforced through the establishment of service delivery war rooms across all 9 provinces, supported by a national rapid response capability that has resolved more than 320 high priority service delivery incidents. These interventions have enabled the state to respond with urgency and coordination, ensuring that crises are addressed in real time and that service delivery is stabilized where it is most at risk. The intervention in Knysna, where a potential day 0 scenario was averted through the deployment of 122 emergency water collection points, stands as a clear demonstration of what coordinated state action can achieve. In the area of core service delivery, every ANC-led municipality is implementing ward-level turnaround plans with defined minimum response standards, ensuring that the delivery of water, sanitation, electricity, roads, refuse removal, and housing is structured, measurable, and accountable. In municipalities such as Enoch Mgijima, all ward committees are now fully operational, supported by structured oversight systems, while the installation of 15,000 smart meters has generated a 35 million revenue improvement in a single month and enabled full utilization of infrastructure grants. In Mamusa, infrastructure grant expenditure has improved significantly, with major water projects nearing completion, while similar interventions are underway in municipalities across the country, including Knysna, Dr. J.S. Moroka, Msund in recent years, with load reduction already eliminated in the Northern Cape and the Western Cape and progressively reduced across all remaining provinces. Over 140 feeders have been restored, supported by the installation of more than 380,000 smart meters, including 190,000 in load reduction areas, enabling targeted enforcement and protecting compliant households from blanket interruptions. Microgrid solutions have been introduced in areas such as Everton and Madimbo, while structured engagements with communities across multiple provinces have resulted in halting of load reduction in affected areas, demonstrating the effectiveness of combining technical solutions with direct community engagement. In transport and infrastructure, progress has been driven through coordinated investment and implementation across all spheres of government. SANRAL has rehabilitated approximately 3,200 kilometers of national roads. Provinces have upgraded 5,800 kilometers of provincial roads, and municipalities have improved more than 12,000 kilometers of local roads, restoring connectivity and enabling economic activity. Passenger rail recovery has seen the restoration of 31 corridors and the upgrading of 68 stations, increasing daily commuter capacity by approximately 450,000, while Transnet has stabilized freight operations, achieving an 8% increase in volumes, supporting industrial activity and export performance. In water and sanitation, interventions have been intensified through direct operational support by the Department of Water and Sanitation, which has deployed technical teams to municipalities experiencing severe service delivery challenges. And one of those municipalities, for an example, that you will know faced some of these challenges close to you is Johannesburg. These interventions are focused on restoring functionality in wastewater treatment works, repairing pump stations, reducing leakages, and strengthening bulk supply systems while improving operational capacity within municipalities. During the recent water crisis in Johannesburg, coordinated intervention by national government stabilized the system through a combination of leak repairs, pressure management, and improved operational coordination, preventing collapse and restoring supply reliability. In Machabe, the completion of 22 water and sanitation infrastructure projects has improved system performance and reliability. While in Knysna, groundwater integration and wastewater improvements have strengthened resilience and reduced environmental risks. Nationally, more than 420 boreholes have been drilled or refurbished, 67 water treatment works upgraded, and over 1,200 kilometers of reticulation networks repaired, improving water access for approximately 2.8 million households. In infrastructure financing and delivery, national government has committed 54 billion over 3 years to repair water and electricity infrastructure in major metros, while 13 major water infrastructure projects are under active implementation, including the Lesotho Islands Water Project and the Umkomazi Water Project. The establishment of the Emfuleni Water and Sanitation Special Purpose Vehicle represents a new institutional model for delivery, linking infrastructure investment with governance reform and operational control, and is already driving progress in the rehabilitation of critical infrastructure. Financial management remains the most urgent intervention point in local government as led by National Treasury and will remain central in pursuit of financial recovery. Municipal finance has been stabilized through the implementation of ESCOM debt relief amounting to 55.3 billion for 71 municipalities, with successive tranches already delivered, restoring financial viability and enabling reinvestment into service delivery and infrastructure. Governance interventions have resulted in over 180 compliance actions, including Section 139 interventions and the administrative stabilization. While improved audit outcomes in municipalities such as Mbombela, Mamusa, and Pelapela demonstrate the impact of capable, accountable leadership. Institutional reform is being advanced through the finalization of the White Paper on Local Government 2026 and the implementation of a professionalization framework, supported by the filling of critical vacancies and training programs that are strengthening capacity within municipalities and ensuring that improvements are sustained over time. The reconnection of the state with the people remains central to the work of the ANC, with structured community engagement programs, ensuring that service delivery challenges are addressed directly and that accountability is reinforced. More than 4,500 ward committee meetings have been convened, supported by a national councillor performance review covering over 3,000 councillors, ensuring that public representatives are held accountable for delivery and performance. Local economic development has been repositioned as a central driver of transformation, with the National LED Summit adopting a binding framework for re-engineering local economies, unlocking more than 18 billion rand in pipeline investments, and supporting over 6,500 small enterprises, strengthening township, rural, and industrial economies, and advancing inclusive growth. Communication and accountability have been strengthened through the establishment of a service delivery and corruption hotline, supported by weekly monitoring systems in the National War Room that tracks, reports, escalates, and resolves community-reported issues, ensuring that the state remains responsive and accountable to the people. The progress achieved over this period is real, measurable, and grounded in the lived experience of communities, reflecting a state that is increasingly focused on implementation, coordination, and outcomes. At the same time, we are clear that the work ahead requires sustained effort to accelerate delivery, deepen impact, and ensure consistency across all municipalities. The African National Congress remains resolute in its commitment to building a capable developmental state that delivers services, restores dignity, and a better life for all. Recognizing that the unity of the alliance, the effectiveness of the state, and the lived experience of the people are fundamentally interconnected. Through disciplined governance, coordinated intervention, and measurable delivery, the ANC continues to act on its responsibility to the people of South Africa, ensuring that progress is not only achieved, but sustained, deepened, and experienced in every community across the country, Ours is not a public relations stance. It is rolling of sleeves, doing the work, recognizing challenges and resolving them for our people. When it comes to leadership challenges in local government, we have made a number of interventions. Where there's been leadership challenges, we have changed a number of mayors in different local communities. As we embark on the path of finding new candidates, others who are doing well will be affirmed by the process, we believe so. But we hope to attract even better candidates based on our guidelines that were released earlier this year through the ANC Electoral Committee led by Kgalema Motlanthe. We are also embarking on the process of appointing mayoral candidates for metros and secondary cities, as we reported to you last week. That process will be completed by June this year, when we'll be announcing mayoral candidates. And some of these mayors we are going to announce will take up their positions even before the elections, and some will do so after the elections. We are running an ANC-led election campaign, not personalities. We are electing mayoral candidates just for quality assurance, to ensure that we get good people, good citizens, good leaders for the communities, in particular in big municipal local government municipalities like the metros and the secondary cities in the country. We have taken decisive actions where there's been disorder. We'll continue to do that, and which some of them have cost us by-elections, by the way, because of decisions the ANC have taken. We will continue to do so where we are faced with challenges, chaos, anarchy, and ill-discipline, where members of the ANC, some in this chaotic way of doing things, vote with the opposition, undermine the mandate of the party. We will deal with that. Of course, we have also navigated in the space of coalitions in the country, particularly in the metros. The ANC only controls 2 metros in South Africa, which is Mangaung and Buffalo City. All the other metros, we are in coalition with other political parties, and we wish to thank them also, those parties who have kept stability, where some of the municipalities like Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg, in Johannesburg, we have had about 7 to 8 mayoral candidates, not candidates, exchange of mayors. In Pretoria, Tshwane, we have had about 6 to 7. The ANC in Tshwane, change of mayoral candidates in a coalition. And that also have taught us that it also brings instability. And that is why the new bill in terms of the threshold and working on the principled coalitions as part and parcel of the outcome of the elections. But nonetheless, we believe we are on track with the implementation of the post-roll call action plan and decisive action on local government. It does not mean that we are not faced with challenges. They are there. But today we are reporting on the progress made in relation to service delivery and making local government work for the people of South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. I will at this point invite members of the media to reflect on our report and to engage with us. There are questions that are going to be responded to by the leadership of the local government intervention to. And I would also ask the Deputy Secretary General to give a reflection. And I will direct some of the questions, particularly those that are of a political nature, to yourself, DSG. The floor is open, colleagues. Let us get to it. I see News 24. I see, is that, thank you. Let's start with you, Samtanda.
Thank you, Sis Mahlengi. Morning. My name is Yamtanda Chapa from News 24. Mr. Mbalula, you spoke about diverting from how you usually elect your mayors. Select mayors rather. You also spoke about people stepping into the roles before the elections. Please expand on that. Just how is it going to work, and also which municipalities are you able to say? And then you took a subtle jab there at your opponent, Ms. Helen Ziller, when you are saying yours is not about PR stunts, but really, when can you expect the ANC when can you expect to see the ANC properly campaigning on the ground? Do you not think you're running out of time? I mean, the elections might be November. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there somebody to pass on the mic, please?
Thank you, SG. Breiten here from Netwerk 24. Just on the campaign for the local government elections, SG, will this be a practical campaign led on evidence, or is this a campaign that the ANC hopes to convince voters using ideology? And then just on the structures here in Gauteng, you alluded to the fact that the mandate might not have been followed with the expansion of the GPU. What's the status on that? And I understand there was a meeting as well held last week. So what's the status of that? Is there any disciplinary action being taken, or was the mandate followed to the T? That's all for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I move on to Power.
Good day, it's Nkosinathi Shazi from Power FM News. Just two questions, Mr. Mbalula, when it comes to the selection process of mayoral candidates, will ANC regional chairpersons get first preference when it comes to them being on the stepping ladder, just with regards to them being mayoral candidates? One example, Loyiso Masuku, ANC chairperson in Johannesburg, will she have first preference in being a mayoral candidate, or are you guys considering all options, even deploying people at national level? And secondly, with the local government elections on the horizon, what is the status between the dual membership issue between the ANC and the SACP? Yeah, just the status on that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I have quite a number of hands there. May I just start at the back? My sister over there, I can't see whether it's Lisa or somebody. Okay.
Good morning. Lisa Mahlengi, Lisa Gataro from Times Live.
I haven't seen you in a while, that's why.
But I've got a number of questions for you, some of them deviating from the subject at hand, but for the interest of transparency, as the ANC has said, I think you will indulge me. The Sunday Times had a story yesterday about the Minister of Social Development and her letter to the Integrity Committee around the donation of these two vehicles in question. I wonder, Nobala, if there has been an investigation by the party outside of the Integrity Committee, which really does not have the teeth necessary to investigate such claims, and especially with her admittance to the Integrity Committee that she did this to sort of invade, as it were, to invade any sort of attachments to the assets. Nobala, as a government official, Umamu Sisisi, should she not be at this point stepping down from that position while you are investigating, if indeed you are investigating? And given that we are at a position where you're going towards the elections, I'm sure that such allegations do not bode well for the ANC. I'll ask further questions later. In terms of the SACP, Nobala, I think that you have given them until tomorrow the deadline is until tomorrow. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. Until tomorrow the deadline is until tomorrow. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, to kind of declare from with the MK party. How do you prevent ANC members, who are also members of the ANC, from handling resources, from taking resources of the ANC to enable it themselves to campaign? And what does the ANC have planned to prevent this from happening? Thank you so much.
Thank you. There were about 2 or 3 hands just below you in that particular order, starting with, thank you.
Good morning to the panel. My name is Thando Maego and I'm from the Business Day. Just heading into the local government elections this year, does the ANC have a ballpark figure of how much the SACP has contributed to its voter share, perhaps in the last few elections at national and local government election? As in, how much numerically has the SACP contributed to the ANC's successes and losses? And then just because the ANC has given a deadline to people who hold dual membership, does the ANC also have figures perhaps on how many of its members who are also in government hold dual membership of ANC and SACP? And how does the ANC just plan to resolve this matter as it's also heading into choosing its mayoral candidates? Thank you.
Thank you, Thando. Yourself, my brother.
Thank you so much. It's Pitso Malemane from Kaya News. SG, the allegations that Mayor Irma Dibeng has contravened the constitution of the ANC, allegedly working with councillors from different political parties to campaign against the ANC. How does the ANC respond to that? Secondly, SG, when are we going to see the ANC on the ground campaigning? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, in that order.
Yes, Salailo Makudiri, Salam Media. My question also is on the tripartite alliance, ANC and the SACP. The SG, I think it was sometime yesterday, said, SACP members and ANC members who have dual membership should choose a side, essentially. Will there be any kind of consequences or implications for members of the ANC that maybe refuse to renounce their SACP statuses? Thank you.
Where are you from?
Salam Media.
Salam Media. Thank you. Is there any other hand? There seems to be a lot of activity this side, so I'm gonna keep focusing here. Yourself, my sister, in front.
Thank you very much. It's Ferrell Hafji from the Daily Maverick. May I check if your municipal data improvement is correct? Because if you look just at Joburg, for example, there have been 1 million power interruptions in the past 3 quarters. That's in City Power reports. And if you look at daily Joburg water reporting, water throttling is very, very regular, especially in the poorer parts of Johannesburg, which of course is where ANC support is highest. And then just to check, don't you risk increased what you call chaos and factionism, Mr. Mbalula, if you impose candidates, for example, in a metro like Johannesburg, rather than letting the region choose their own mayoral candidates? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daily Maverick. Any other? Okay, I will then turn to the ANC leadership to respond. Matters that have to do with local government, I think I will end with the SG, with your permission, SG. But I will start with the DSG. And then I will ask, yeah, with the operational ones, okay. Okay, Comrade Stella, you may delegate if you wish, but Comrade Stella or Comrade Dixon will attend to questions that have to do with the report card. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Mahlengi, and a very good morning to SG and DSG and members of the media. Thank you so much for the questions that have been put forward here in trying to establish a much deeper understanding from what the Secretary General has been able to put forward. The last question says there are interruptions both in water and as well as electricity supply. An example has been given of Johannesburg. Quite importantly, I suppose members of the media and South Africans are quite aware that we have acknowledged the infrastructure constraints and difficulties in almost all our metros, including some of the secondary cities in the country, the extent to which water infrastructure as well as electricity infrastructure has been affected over a period of time. Our response to this situation, mindful of the fact that these metros and these secondary cities are very important public institutions in the governance system of our country and in the main engines of economic development and as well as social life of South Africans. We have put in place, working together with Treasury and Office of the President, the Metro Trading Review process, with a very clear understanding that for us to stabilize the provision of electricity, including water, there is a need to relook into how and the mechanisms that must be put in place to strengthen that part of work. And therefore, the policy review on the trading services of the metros in the main, it is aimed at making sure that at the end of the day, the elements of that policy process begins to be concretized, and they will unavoidably stabilize these situations beyond what we are experiencing at the moment. So it's not an issue that apparently it looks like we've got no plan to deal with these issues. In fact, in the past 3 weeks, we had a meeting with all the 8 metropolitan municipalities of our country to look at matters of finances, to look at matters of infrastructure, delivery, stabilization, but also maintenance. We have appreciated and acknowledged the problems related to governance, complicated by unstable coalition politics. Basically, that conversation was much more detailed and deeper into looking at these issues. And to the extent that we looked at matters around water network stabilization, supply system, and also considered the reports which the Department of Water and Sanitation presented on the current assessment on quality of water with regard to green drop and no drop. And I suppose members of the media have already had a side on that report and what it says about the state of water quality throughout the country. So largely I could say that these matters are receiving our attention. On top of that, as we focus on stabilization of this system, His Excellency, the President, has been able to put in place a water management committee at which we are part of it. And I suppose at an appropriate time, his leadership will talk to the people of South Africa based on the work that technically we have been able to do with officials from DWS, electricity, ourselves in Cocta, where I'm deployed, as well as National Treasury and Housing, and the whole interministerial committee on municipal supply and services to municipalities. So there's a very elaborate work that has been done in that regard, and understandably, once that part is completed, His Excellency will talk to the nation on where are we and how do we intend moving forward. Related to the same matter, we are dealing with municipalities, not only Johannesburg. I suppose members of the media might be aware that there were municipalities, about 14 of them, which were related to or referred to as having some difficulties with ESCOM on matters of their debt relief conditions and with probable challenges that may arise as we move forward. I want to assure South Africans that that area of public concern where we're sitting, there are close engagements between ourselves, ESCOM, and those municipalities to look at the conditionalities attached thereto so that we socialize our municipalities with an understanding that once there is a distribution agency agreement agreed upon, it must be honored without any failure so that ESCOM equally can stabilize its own systems. So these matters around electricity and water supply broadly and individually in particular areas of our municipal administration, they are in fact receiving our attention. Related to the same area of work, as a matter of building, and I suppose members of the media are aware of the main objectives or priorities of the seventh administration. One amongst them says we've got to build ethical and capable developmental state. And what it means in our context is that of local government. It means we must restore the capacity of that sector to provide the much needed public functions through their public works programs. We have been able to make a very clear policy view with regard to the need to do what it is called insourcing of some of the functions. In fact, where the process is now, we're looking at those categories of municipal services, which as a matter of must be insourced so that the capacity for public works function of these municipalities can be ensured and can be provided without any failure. So these are broad issues which we are working on them very closely and quite honestly in a very short space of time, and probably when we go to Parliament to debate on budgetary processes, we will make it much more clearer in our articulation. Services, municipalities from now going, and we should be able to determine a framework financially, infrastructurally, and as well as in terms of person power, so that those functions can be restated as public functions reinstalled internally without any tenderization, because any matter that has got to do with the tender process has got its own implications on the quality, the speed with which we've got to respond in resolving some of these matters. I suppose that is the extent to which I could make comments, Comrade Madlengi and the Secretary General, based on some of the points that have been put forward here by our colleagues from the media. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Masemola. I will then, at this point, Comrade Stella, you said he's covered everything. Okay, if you could. All right.
Thank you, Comrade Mahlengi, and greetings to everyone. The Deputy Chair has covered everything, but there's this point that is having the correct data on the municipal improvement data that we have. Yes, we do have a correct one, but as the Deputy Chair has articulated, fixing the challenges that we have in relation to infrastructure cannot just be attended to in 6 months, which is why we then come to you periodically to say this is what we have done. If you look at the work that has been done in the city of Johannesburg, you will agree with me that there's improvements since we started or before the president did the councillor rollout program that we had. So I just wanted to clarify that we are not incorrect. We are using a correct data. This is what informs the responses and the interventions that we're bringing here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Comrade Stella. I will then invite the DSG, and largely on elections-related matters and other matters you may wish to comment on.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mahlengi, DSG, members of the media, good morning. Some of the weighty issues will remain with the Secretary General for the good of them requiring more detailed explanation. But as to when will the NC start campaigning, campaigning has started. We've set up election structures. We're training our members. We have a strategy that we are reflecting on the basis of our approach to the coming local government elections. We are very systematic in how we want to wage this campaign. And the work that is related to the candidate selection is about to start. We now have a new task that is also in addition to the functioning of the national office bearers around the selection of candidates. Our public representatives during this constituency period were out and about in the country through their constituency offices doing voter registration. We are now hard at work following the new delimitation processes of the IEC, because we do not want to be everywhere not knowing where the new VDs are, the new boundaries of the new wards, so that we don't go on a campaign that may not yield the good results on the day of elections, because we have not confirmed our own understanding and appreciation of the new VDs that the IEC has now shared with the people of South Africa. So work has begun. Work has begun, and we also have taken the by-elections as part of a soft launch and build up to elections. We've never waged any ideological campaign from 1994, those who know the ANC. Ours has been about what is good for the electorate and for the country. Our manifesto has always been informed by what has to be done at a local level where people live, working together with the people of South Africa. On the issue about dual membership, there is nothing complicated in that. Where we are now, we'll be coming back to yourselves, and the SG will elaborate on that. On now that the NC has gone out to brief its structures over this past weekend, how then do we effect? I'm not sure about the deadline that people are talking about, because we will only act and put the systems in place post this weekend, where we political executive committees of the African National Congress. And our understanding and resolve together with the South African Communist Party, the issue is not about dual membership, it is about your responsibility as a member in the coming elections and in campaigning for one or the other party. Members of the ANC and those who also are members of the South African Communist Party have always played a meaningful role in ensuring that the ANC comes out victoriously, including with this 40%. And that's why the ANC has always warned about the implications of the resolution of the party. And hence we will have to then plan in anticipation of the impact of the resolution of the South African Communist Party on us. Hence these engagements, as well as the work, the program that has to be implemented. Imposition of councillors, there's never been any process that makes everyone happy, especially when it has to do with deployment and redeployment. It is a responsibility of a party like the ANC to determine how it deals with their selection of candidates. There is no way in the ANC where the rule says the chair shall be the mayor. Everyone, the region will make its own recommendations, the province, and finally national will have to look at those issues, and everybody whose name is being raised will be subjected to a due process that's going to be run and facilitated by the national officials. The difference in this instance is that it is the responsibility of the national officials to look beyond what is being nominated or suggested by the structures of the African National Congress. Of course, prioritizing those that are supporters and members of the African National Congress. Of course, the ANC is quite concerned, Lizeka, about the possible abuse of resources of those who are deployed as members of the African National Congress into public office. And hence, in our guide that we shared with our members, we did emphasize that at no point should you be seen to be using the resources to be fundraising, to be managing, to be strategizing, to be communicating, to be representing any other political party using a platform of your deployment by the African National Congress. And hence you have to appreciate that those kind of actions may put you into a process where the ANC has to act upon you. We've seen it with the current by-elections, where we were shortchanged because of those kind of experiences. And we do support the decision, and we believe that it is a proper decision in the best interest of the ANC, having learned badly from the MKP situation. And we are now determined to ensure that this is done in a manner that protects the resources, the opportunities given on members, that they must actually be for the good of the African National Congress. Lastly, we don't expect anyone to resign from being a member of the SACP going into these local government elections. Comrades must make a choice. And those comrades will then be expected to make a choice that is good for themselves and for the party that they would want to go and campaign for. It is not an anti-South African Communist Party position. The ANC is responding to a Congress resolution of the South African Communist Party that predates 2026, that started in 2022, but the difference now, it's a Congress resolution that the party says it is irreversible. Thank you.
Just before that, Comrade SG, with your permission, we do have callers. We also had opened that option for members of the media. Should we do it after? Okay.
Thank you very much, comrades. Ladies and gentlemen of the media. Anyway, some of you are comrades. So it's not a mistake, but we know you are comrades underground. So, there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you very much, DSG and the comrades here of LGI. I think they've answered the most technical question in the main post by Ferial Afeji. And I want to emphasize the point that without dwelling into it, if we use a fact check in terms of our statement, will be able to back what we said with evidence. But it does not mean the data we are giving you based on what we collated means that everything is good on the ground and there are no challenges. All what we're accounting to you is what does our local government plan achieving on the ground. We launched a plan. We had the roll call of councillors, you were there. We committed to 10 things and we gave you a feedback in relation to that. That work, like Stella says, it's ongoing. News 24, stepping into electing mayors and so on. We have given you the report on this last week. The ANC have started the process of mayors. We will look at the best that we'll get out of the process of interviews and engagement. And that process is very rigorous, involves interviews. Start first with looking at people, their CVs and vetting, and their political background, and their leadership role in society and governance capabilities. And then whether or not they can fit the role of a mayor in the metro and the role of a mayor in the secondary cities. So we want the best of the best. What the ANC is considering in terms of its framework, of course, we're looking inside, but we have opened up to public. We will be intensifying that this coming weeks. Public to tell us in Joburg, whom will you want to become the mayor of Joburg on the ANC platform? That's what we have said. And the ANC will then look into that in terms of its framework, whether to go beyond just membership. We're already doing that with the local government councillors. We have selected some of the best councillors at the ward level simply because the community says, we believe in this person. We believe that this person will serve us, and majority of them have done a good job on the ground. So we are going to follow that same pattern. But our framework is very clear. We will go for the best. And we are not confining ourselves to who got elected. If the chairperson of the region, among those who are interviewed, is the person we believe can be the mayoral candidate, that will be it. But we are not confining ourselves to elected leadership, so to say. But the elected leadership will also contest, will also be allowed to show their hand, and that is it. And they will be interviewed by the top 7 of the ANC. But that is not a criterion. We don't take a jab to anyone. Anyone makes all sorts of statements about the ANC, and I don't know why the person you are mentioning, because maybe she's in the news every day for this and that. So we're not taking any jab. We're simply making a statement like Amilcar Cabral, claim no easy victories, tell no lies. Don't say things you cannot afford to do and claim them to be victorious on them. We're reporting on our action plan. One of the things we planned to do, and we're going to start doing this coming Monday on this action plan with the top 7 of the ANC and the NWC, we will be visiting metros and to showcase the practical work that is being done. For instance, today, we had planned that we'll go around Johannesburg and showcase practically the work that has been done and covered, not by the ANC, but by the ANC being part of the coalition in Johannesburg. What work has actually been covered and so on. So we decided that we'll start embarking on that after today's announcement. As an incumbent, you don't start a campaign. You're already in a campaign because you are in charge. A campaign is just a launch. It's an event that elections have been announced. I hear from you that Zille is campaigning. I'm not aware. I'm seeing it though everywhere, every day. And then she calls that a campaign. I mean, it's okay. Niyamthanda uZille because nina nibona campaign thina siyiboni sibona nje umuntu ohlenyuka nje and so on. So Nina, you are seeing a campaign there. Tina, the campaign to us is what we are going to do and account to our people. Because we are here, we are in government. And that is what we are going to do. And everywhere else where you are in charge, people judge you by the standards of what you have done and your good intentions through your manifesto that you say you can do. And on the basis of that, people then make up their mind. We have been winning and defending our constituencies successfully, including here in Johannesburg, in the by-elections. But we don't want to use by-elections as a measure, but we have won majority of by-elections we have contested, including some from the DA in the Northern Cape. That's what has actually happened, but you don't talk about it, but it's not an issue. We have also lost just few by-elections to the opposition, including in KZN, to the IFP and to MKP. But we have defended 2 or 3 in KZN. But in KZN, it has not shown that we are doing well in terms of the by-elections. But we have defended our base and we're doing well in most of the constituency areas that the ANC is actually dominant. News 24 campaign, DSG have answered that. Ideology, people don't eat ideology, they eat the real things. You have committed, you are doing this on the basis of that. They either agree or disagree with what you are saying. And therefore, we have said to our people, we're rolling up our sleeves, we're intervening in local government, and that is why we're giving a feedback today. We have never said that GPU, people that don't have a mandate. We said people must be loyal to their decisions. We did not explain those decisions. You will appreciate that when you are in a coalition, you are faced with challenges from time to time. And therefore, your ego doesn't work in a coalition. What works is what other partners want. And in this particular instance, EFF has come to the party to work with the ANC when others refused to adopt the budget. And therefore, we are working with them, and that is why they are MEC of Finance. We don't choose MECs of Finance from political parties. Will we choose Dunga as the ANC? No, we will not. But we are in a coalition. Singobani thina sizoxelela uJulius asinike bani, usinika lo, asinika yena. You see, he gave us Dunga. So nina nilwa nathi ngathi uDunga uvela ku-ANC, akaveli ku-ANC. He's from, you didn't give us outright majority. You've got every right to question ANC candidates, but we can't question candidates of other political parties. It's for the EFF to defend Dunga, not us. EFF as a political party agreed to pass budget with the ANC and to work with the ANC in the government of the province of Gauteng. DA did not agree to pass budget with us. MK did not agree. They abstained. EFF came to the party and we managed to pass the budget. That is the nature of coalition politics. So there's no decision that has been taken that is static, that says don't do this or else. What are your options? If you say, no, you don't take this. We have made people in this country with 1 seat mayors. Do we have a choice? We don't. We have to sing along. Even if we know we've got capabilities, but for us to govern, we need that person and govern solidly. That is why we agreed on the issue of the threshold, and smaller political parties are against that. The DA and the ANC said, no, if ever you don't get outright majority, I was there. Deputy President Mashatile was leading that process. Let political parties work together, let there be a threshold. They refuse flatly. But we are a democracy, what can we do? So that's why we will work for outright majority win. And we are not working for coalition governments. Because coalition governments, you are talking about Johannesburg. How many mayors have we had in one term? We started with the DA, Mashaba. Mashaba left the DA. And then came who? Mpho. Mpho did not last. And then after Mpho, who? Not ACDP, Doctor who? From the DA. Yeah, Palat. After a doctor, who came? The most popular one, Kwamanda. Yes, Kwamanda. And then after Kwamanda, Tapelo before Kwamanda. And then after Kwamanda and Tapelo, then Dada. But and then MMCs are shared in the coalition. So there's no single party that governs. You go to Tshwane, Pretoria. Who was the mayor there? Brink. He produced the debt crisis for Tshwane. Under the DA, they governed there for the longest of time in Tshwane. And then came Nasipa in the new coalition. Wave. You forgot who governed Tshwane. Even now, you can say Tshwane, but Tshwane is still facing financial challenges. Bankruptcy and all of that. Look at Madlanga and think about Tshwane. Open TV now and see who's on the stand. CFO from Tshwane. You know. And then you come to Ekurhuleni. Who was in charge? When all Madlanga things happened, after Mzwandile was taken out of the council by bouncers. Yes, DA, Tanya. That old Magogo, they were just doing corruption under her. No, Yana, she was not corrupt. But Batati corruption under her, Bazenzela. By a report, but it's not me. Siziva pa indaba kuMadlanga. We are hearing things there at Madlanga that people were just, it was a smash and grab in Ekurhuleni. After the Mzwandile was a mayor in a coalition for 5 years. Stable, it never collapsed. And I'm proudly standing here saying that. And we produced even clean audit outcomes in Ekurhuleni. These clean audit outcomes are important in terms of financial accountability. What it means is that you have used the money of the people very well. It's not just a ticking box and all of that. It means the little that you've got or a lot, you have used it very well. Ekurhuleni was never at VBS, nowhere. And then now is the ANC on the driving seat. In terms of Ekurhuleni with other political parties. So I'm just demonstrating that it's not a jab. When it is convenient for others, our memory fades away quite quickly and forget that we governed this Johannesburg very well under Pakstau and Amos Masondo. No dispute about it. We created this thing that you see, pick it up and everything. Things started to change when others came in. Now, other political parties to support us to be in the driving seat. We are not in charge. But we get to be blamed for everything because the people know ANC. Because in their constituencies, in their wards, we are dominant. It's fine to hold a ward, but at the end of the day, a person without even a ward in terms of our municipal model system, in terms of our democracy, He's got a voice in council and can even become a mayor. And through the PR system, they garner more votes. But they don't win wards. We control wards. That's why people march against the ANC, because they vote for us. The constituencies, if you go to Tshwane, we are number one, dominant on the list of wards. In the country, we are number one, but we don't control the city because of PR and all of that. GPU, so there was a decision, and what is being implemented is a decision of the organization informed by the balance of power and the political parties being engaged by our provincial structures, and they're coming to this conclusion that we come to. Power FM, regional chairpersons have addressed that question. Dual membership of the Communist Party will remain, but there is no dual contest of elections. When you contest, you choose whether you support the party or the ANC. We have laid the rule, and therefore we've got a communique. On Thursday, we'll communicate. We have met with all our structures throughout the country. We have addressed them now. We have met with the SACP. We have addressed everybody in terms of the allies about how we relate with the resolution of the party to contest election on its own. So there's no one who's fighting dual membership of the party. Lizeka, Minister of Social Development, I don't have any report from Integrity Commission. I think what you've got there is a ghost, because reports of integrity, once they are finalized, they are brought to us, we table them for NEC. So I'm not aware of that. The minister is capable of responding to this question, but what I've seen is that in terms of the reports on this particular matter, it's a matter that belongs there with the Women's League. So that is the structure that is appropriate to respond. Ministers are ministers and are guided by the executive code. So if a minister break the executive code and the oath of office on matters like this, there's no negotiations. You'll be dropped if you break the executive code. So I don't have a report at this present moment with regard to this matter. And therefore, I've asked a report from the Minister of Social Development on this particular issue so that we are properly advised, not only me, including in government, the president, so that we are able to respond on this issue of Minister Sisisi. Before we even arrive at the issue of step down investigation and so on, there might not be a need of investigation based on the report that you get from the Women's League together with the minister and Comrade Sisisi. There's no declaration for 10 days. You misunderstand that the letter will be written, it's not yet written, by the Secretary General to all ANC members, including those who are in the SACP, to respond in 10 days if ever they will campaign for the ANC or the SACP. That letter will come out next week to all members. Now, if you don't respond to that letter, but you continue to campaign for the SACP, there will be consequences. Because the ANC constitution is very clear that dual membership is acceptable. But if now the Communist Party is a party on its own, is campaigning, and therefore you are a SACP member and you campaign for the SACP, you will have to choose the SACP. And then you have to respond to us so that our task is easier. but we're not going to chase communists out of the ANC because the alliance is not broken. The SACP have simply taken a decision to stand as a party in the coming local government election. And that is why we are saying to our members, we must not understand that as inimical, as something compared to other opponents. They have taken a decision, but they are not out of the alliance. We will see out of the elections what will this give to the alliance, this contestation by the SACP. Of course, we're concerned about the vitriolic attacks on the ANC by the Communist Party in terms of this contestation. Communist Party contests power for socialism, and it must express that in its campaign, but it cannot isolate the ANC as a target. And the same as the ANC cannot isolate and attack the Communist Party. But you can't campaign for both. I can't be Mbalula Communist Party afternoon, in the morning I'm SACP. It's a practical question that no ma'am. I'm here on the Communist Party, so I will not be in a position to attend ANC PET meetings, ANC ZET meetings, ANC PET meetings, ANC. And I will not be in a position to campaign for the ANC because I'm campaigning for the party. As a minister, as a deputy minister, as an MMC, as a mayor, you can't campaign for both. You must choose. Others have already chosen to campaign for the ANC and they will stay with the ANC, not with the party, and they are loyal to the ANC, but they do not relinquish their membership of being communists because communists are not expelled here in the ANC. It's a long debate, which I will want you to organize there for me, podcast at Times Live, so that we unpack it properly. Yeah. Tando, deadline, I've clarified the issue of deadline. Once the letter is out, 10 days from that day, that letter will be distributed from everybody and will calculate 10 days in the letter. It will say Monday to next Monday, and it will include dates. You must have made your choice. That letter is not there. We have briefed all our structures this past weekend. We are getting reports now as I'm speaking to you. I will go through those reports and report to the officials on the reports from the interactions and the briefings we have had with the structures. And then thereafter, it will never be like Zuma issued this thing. Zuma was a spontaneity, it was a volcano. So it was meant to disrupt. This one, we're informed, we have been engaging with it. It is done by our allies, we know it. And that's why we have reflected on it. There will never be another meeting again. We're done. We are now ready to get into an election with clarity of thought. We are guiding our structures on the ground on what needs to happen. And everybody must exercise maximum discipline on this issue. The party has made its decision to contest and they are contesting. It's fine. We are going ahead. Okay? So that is what we are saying. Lastly, Kaya News, Mayor in Madibeng, we deal with cases like this every day. This case we came across, the province will report today. We're supposed to meet with them about the mayor of Madibeng, and then we hear what they say. If there's action on that, it will be taken. Of course, we are concerned that a mayor of the ANC can be working with opponents against the ANC. We have seen that again on Times Live, on the newspaper, about that activity and the video. So we are processing that matter of Madibeng. As DSGF addressed the issue of the campaign, I've spoken to that as well. Ferial, they've answered your question in terms of data. I've also dealt with that. The campaign has begun to some, as you can see. but you can't feel the ANC. So we'll make it an effort that you see us in the campaign mode. But we intend to launch our campaign full swing in July. Full swing in terms of the campaign of the elections. At the present moment, we are in the campaign because we have been in a campaign from the day the people voted for us to be in power. So we are being judged on the work we are doing. We are the incumbent. So those who are not have deemed it fit to launch their own in advance. So we're not kowtowing our opponents. If they do this, we follow them. No. We are doing our own thing. We are in a campaign. We are selecting candidates. We are selecting mayors. We will launch formally through various activities that will be announced in July. We'll launch our campaign in July. And besides, we're also still waiting for the date of the elections. Now, you know, a date of the campaign links to your strategy. How long will you campaign? How long is this campaign going to take? So people who've got endless money, long pockets, they campaign from January to December. They have billboards already everywhere. You can see these people are rich. We don't have billboards. That will only happen in July. But we are preparing ourselves. Preparing ourselves for the campaign and to win, we are doing that. And part of that work is today. We're giving you an account of what we said we'll do in the last, when we launched the roll call. Thank you very much.
Thank you, SG. I would like to really summarize the remaining questions in the interest of time. But I think it will be remiss not to take them into account because we've opened that opportunity for the phone-in platform. There are just about 5. Oh, no, only 4. And I suspect the ones that have been covered in the responses of the panel, I will request that the callers would take the responses that have been provided. So the first one, Comrade SG, says that during the ANC's roll call in 2025, Party President Cyril Ramaphosa stated that the DA runs the best governed municipalities across South Africa. Does the ANC believe this going into elections, given the DA's record of neglecting low-income residential areas where they govern? The second one, the call by ATM to have a motion of no confidence vote against President Cyril Ramaphosa was rejected by the Speaker of Parliament, citing irregularities during the motion. Is the ANC concerned on potential impeachment proceedings against party president regarding the Phala IP report and the Constitutional Court judgment to sue? Has this impacted the ANC's election plans? Third one, does the ANC's action plan for municipalities consist of a plan for corruption in policing at a municipal level, given the spate of arrests and court appearances recently? Does the step aside rule still apply to those charged? I don't know if the LGI team is able to decode the third question for the purposes of answering and whether this has been covered. And the last one, these elections come at a time where coalition governments are enormous in South Africa. Should the ANC not get outright majority in certain municipalities, will the ANC still lean on governing with the DA, given the tense relationship with the GNU, or seek to govern with new partners? And is the SACP ANC dual membership about to be a thing of the past, given recent tensions between the ANC and the SACP, with the SACP contesting? May I rule out both the last question, because it's now been responded to. I think comprehensively, actually. And so the one about the president, the motion of confidence, as well as the idea that the DA runs the best governed municipalities. I do think that the caller also has already responded to this question by indicating that the DA's record of neglecting low-income residential areas where they govern is some kind of a sense of having answered that question. SG, I think these questions are crucial. Just this one question around the president. But may I ask you, Comrade Stella or Comrade Masebola, to speak to this one about corruption in policing at the municipal level and whether our plan includes that, particularly given the spate of arrests and court appearances recently. Although a number of those don't involve members of the ANC, by the way.
Thank you so much, Somloma. I was about to say that all the corrupt activities that are being undertaken at the municipal level are because of the ANC policies and the stance that we have taken to say we are going to deal with crime and corruption. Now, where a member of the council, irrespective of whether one is the member of the ANC or not, where one has been found guilty, we expect the council to let their processes kick in, because the laws are very clear in terms of a councillor that has been found guilty or in breach of whatever in relation to the council operations. They are then taken out of the council. Now, for those that are members of the ANC, the SGs here, as you know, what's the process towards the step aside, because there are processes that are put in place as you read the resolution that became very popular amongst yourselves, even members that are not of the ANC. They're quick to refer to people going to step aside. We appreciate that because, again, it shows confidence in the public that the ANC is really trying to act against those that would be found guilty of serious offenses, as the resolution states. I will let that be responded to in detail by the SG, but of course, where members have been found in breach, those that of the ANC, there's certain processes that are undertaken. Thank you so much.
Very briefly, the statement of the president is exploited by the DA. Is completely misunderstood, not even understood, it's just their opportunity. We are bigger and we are honest about governing South Africa. And we look at our competitors at the same time. What the president was relating to was that we're a dominant party in the country when it comes to municipalities, a dominant party when it comes to ward-based councillors and so on. And even in municipalities, we are in control. And therefore, if you look at Western Cape, you will find that when it comes to clean audit, they perform well. So what is it that they do that we're not doing right? That's what the president said, among others. And that's not a statement. It can only be said by somebody who's not afraid to look at themselves in the mirror without even looking at your worst opponent. So that's what has happened. Now it has been exploited. And we're very happy that since that 10-point plan, even municipalities, you can go to the Free State, we have moved from qualified to unqualified because of first admitting to the challenge, but also not being afraid to act. So the year of decisive action means where we govern, we must govern well, but where it is necessary, we must be able to take action. And as we come back and report to the nation, we have been able to be decisive and act. And we will act, including about Madibe, you are asking about. We have acted even in areas as far as Tabazimbi. The whole municipality, we went to a by-elections and won. At great risk that we could lose. But we had to take actions and deal with individuals with wayward behavior in those particular areas. And we will do so even going forward. So that's what the ANC has done, and we will continue to do. Step aside. There's no one in the local municipalities who is arrested and is still holding on to a position. No one. No one. The ANC have acted. You are arrested, you appear in court, step aside. Resolve your issues. If you are found to be guilty, you are gone. If you are not, you will come back because you are cleared by the competent court of law. The ANC has done that and will continue to do so in fighting corruption. And nobody else has actually done that compared to us. And we can't even compare ourselves to anyone because we are the dominant party in South Africa in terms of local government and different municipalities. So our members know very well that when you do something wrong and you end up being arrested, you will step aside from the party. So gone are the days where people stay on irrespective. I can give you a catalog of events and individuals one by one at local government who are affected by step aside. No one who is serving in our councils today, serving, and is arrested and is not on a step aside. Akekho. And if you call on the phone, and then I'm saying that to you, there's nobody. Political parties, individuals get arrested up and down, small jackets, they are still there. You know, in government and all of that, they are still there. They are in charge. They go to court, come back. I saw somebody with a gun, somewhere in Sarah Parkman, in the Eastern Cape, toting a gun. The mayor or something. And they said he's an ANC mayor. That person is not an ANC mayor. Was just shooting at random. But he's arrested. He's arrested and appeared in court, if I'm not mistaken. So, gun toting, a mayor. So that person appeared in court and is facing charges and so on. So that's what has happened to other parties. And if I'm not mistaken, that person is on the DA list. Or if I'm not mistaken, another political party, if not DA, but it defected and joined the DA in that municipality, arrested. If he was in the ANC, would have been put on a step aside. It was a very popular picture and on TikTok. And uthi bemvuyile ucinga ziklaburi sidubula kudlalwa ngompu thwa 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 udlala ngeklaburi zinto zodlala cricket thwa. That's how you celebrate. You don't celebrate with a gun. That thing is not done here in South Africa. So there are laws here, and as a mayor I should have known the laws that govern, because if people can shoot at random in the township, they are going to terrorize our people. This is not some country where there is war, you know. So people get used to the sound of a gun. We want to raise kids here in a normal environment, even if they are faced with challenges. But guns is the last thing. So Lamdu never step aside if he was in the ANC. But I suppose he's still the mayor there. Under correction, maybe he's put aside. I don't know. So we have a number of ANC members who have appeared in court as councillors or anything of that sort and have been step aside, have been put on step aside. Those who have been convicted have faced full party disciplinary, and they are no longer even in the membership list of the African National Congress. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, SG. I thought we were done, and I see one And it's no fault of the Tule House, but we have to indulge members of the media because they honor us by coming to this meeting. I see a hand. Please
Quick.
keep the question succinct.
Just one question. My name is Sinte Wang from the SAPC. Secretary General, a question from one of our sister stations in one of the provinces. They said at some point the ANC, as the Secretary General, you said all provinces should have concluded their provincial conferences by the end of March. But for those provinces who didn't go to their conference, so what's going to happen with them? Are they still in good standing? What's going to happen? What's the process beyond that? And maybe just the tail end of that question. You said on the SACP, you said some SACP members, SACP members who have dual membership will be written, I think, a letter within the next 10 days or so, or they will be given 10 days to respond in terms of their status. And if they don't respond beyond the 10 days, there will be consequences. In a nutshell, what would that consequence be? And if you can just tell us, what is that the ANC has resolved on the special NEC? I know that you spoke about Thursday, but in a nutshell, what has the ANC resolved, the special NEC resolved on that? Thank you.
We have resolved that communists are still communists in the special NEC, and that they be communists. Now that they've taken a decision to stand on their own, the ANC constitution then kicks in terms of their membership of the ANC, and also it has got implications in terms of campaigning. So the decision that has been taken and communicated to structures include a decision of people making a choice of whether you'll campaign for the ANC or the Communist Party. And it will be further explained on Thursday. And the reasons why on Thursday is because we have brief structures. When we communicate on Thursday, it will exactly be the beginning of 10 days. And on that day, we will also release the letter to all members of the ANC across the length and breadth of the country. And they will be monitored by the regions, by the BCs, by the sub-regions, up until national to the office of the Secretary General. So 10 days will begin on Thursday when the letter goes out to our structures. So that is the reason. And on that day, we will also brief the media about the outcomes fully, and the communique we will have shared with the structures. Conferences, we are done with regional conference. People speak about regional conferences as though there is massive regional conferences. There's no such. Regional conferences that are outstanding is in the Free State, Northwest, and one in Gauteng. Western Cape is going to go to conference after next year. We just dissolved them now and reconfigured them. So we have constituted RTTs, but we are also going to trim them in terms of the RTTs as well as the PTT in the Western Cape. Gauteng, we don't have conferences yet, only one left, Gauteng. KwaZulu-Natal, we don't have conferences there. The PTT failed to convene regional conferences and a provincial conference. We reconfigured them. We are trimming them. By this week, we are announcing fully fledged new PTT, RTTs in KZN. We have already announced 6. This week, we will announce the full PTT. We're in KwaZulu-Natal. We're back in the province to finalize that work. So they will focus on the elections, no conference. They will hold their conferences after the elections next year in KZN and the Western Cape. In these provinces too that I've mentioned, the regional conferences were supposed to take place, they were delayed by disputes. Now that those are settled, verification reports, we have agreed that there is no reason why they shouldn't, because some of them have been RTTs for a long time. So if they say we are done with our work, allow us to sit. The NWC said yes, sit, but that does not derail anyone. Anyone who comes and tell you Ntebu, that there are regional conferences everywhere, they don't know what they are talking about. Regional conferences are over. We have regional conferences, they are done in Limpopo, they are done in Mpumalanga, they are done in Northern Cape, they are done in the Eastern Cape. We are left with one, Sarapartma, done. There is no regional conference there. So there's base conference, Tetwangas. Free State, we've got about 4 or 5 regions there, and then regional conferences are coming in. Thabo Mofusanyana said this week we'll be not having any conference. So anyone who says that we have been derailed from doing elections work because of conferences, we have met our deadlines of conferences. We are ready for elections now. We are pushing our structures on the election campaign. Those who are listening to are those who say, on the date of the deadline, we were ready, but we could not because of, and then, yes, when we have been an RTT. So don't tell us about people who have not even attempted to hold conferences. KZN, you know, it's a reconfigured structure, and as well as the Western Cape. So they will go next year and then also prepare for their conferences. The provinces that will have their conferences next year is the Free State. Of course, Northwest was supposed to have their conference now, they delayed. They are supposed to be part of this group of Eastern Cape, Limpopo, and so on. But they will have their conference immediately. But their term of office comes to an end in August. So the NEC will have to convert that structure into a PTT, not now, by August. That's why we then gave them the right to hold a conference Northwest, because by August we will be in the middle of a campaign. We don't have time for conferences. We'll have conferences next year. So anyone who's coming to you and say, hey, there is a conference, that person should be either from Free State or Northwest. And we're keeping them on close watch to complete their processes. And that is it. We're done. There's no regional conference that is pending, that is running, and all of that. Here in Gauteng, all our regions have convened their conferences. We're left with West Rand. Even West Rand is ready. So we will be complete. We'll just be left with Hope Papo, and which we are also going to evaluate and finalize that work. And then the PTT continues. We don't have a crisis as a PTT here. And then we'll have to evaluate, report to the officials. KZN was our mandate from the NEC. Go reconfigure, the term came to an end. In between that decision, Gauteng then came with a proposal that no, we thought Gauteng is ready for conference. And then we're told that they want to sit in May. The decision that conferences must sit in March was taken last year. It was not taken this year. So comrades just look at the decision and smile with it, you know, and not implement it, with the hope that they will be given a chance to be extended to June. They forgot we are in a campaign. If you are busy with a conference in June, how will that be possible? So we're done with regional conferences. We don't have any conferences that are all over the place. There are very few, not more than 4, that are remaining in the 2 provinces to sit, and that's it.
Colleagues, at this point, just reminding you that our message is still anchored around the year of decisive action
to fix local government and transform the economy. I'd like to thank you for your time and for your engagement. We remain adjourned until next time.